We spend so much of our lives trying to manage everything around us, our jobs, our money, our families. But what if I told you the most important thing to manage, the one thing that changes everything, is actually our inner world? Today, we're diving into a really powerful mental shift inspired by the work of Sadhguru that might just be the ultimate life hack for mastering your own experience. Just let that one sink in for a second. It's such a strange paradox, right? We see it all the time. People who fail are miserable. Okay, that makes sense. But people who succeed, who get everything they ever wanted, they're often miserable too. How does that work? This is the real tragedy we're going to unpack. So this leads us right into what you could call the management trap. We pour all our time and energy into managing the outside world, totally convinced that if we just get that success, that promotion, that relationship, then we'll finally have peace on the inside. But as we're about to see, that's almost never how it actually plays out. Let's get real for a minute. Think about it for yourself. When you were 5 years old, how happy were you? Just baseline, simple, joyful. And now, today, after all the school, the jobs, the accomplishments, how happy are you? If you were to literally draw a graph of your happiness over time, is that line trending up? Or is it kind of surprisingly going down? And here's the kicker. If after all that work, all that struggle, your happiness isn't going through the roof, well, it points to one thing. We're managing the wrong stuff. We might be fantastic managers of a business or a project, but we're actually pretty bad managers of ourselves, of our own thoughts, our own body, and our own emotions. Right, so this poor management of our inner selves leads us to focus on the symptoms, not the actual disease, which brings us to this huge industry built around a totally flawed idea: stress management. We're going to poke some holes in this concept and see why trying to manage your stress is like trying to put out a fire by neatly arranging the flames. It just doesn't work. It's a genuinely wild question when you stop and think about it. We talk about stress management like it's a normal thing. But you manage things you value, right? Things you want to keep and help grow. Why on earth would you ever want to manage stress? You don't want to organize it, you want to get rid of it. And this just nails it. No job is stressful. Your job is just your job. The CEO is stressed, but so is the person answering the phones. The stress isn't coming from the outside world. It's an internal friction. It's happening because we simply haven't learned how to manage our own internal system. Okay, so if managing stress is the wrong game, what's the right one? Well, this brings us to the absolute core of this whole explainer. It's a complete reframing of a word we use all the time: responsibility. And here is the aha moment. We have to completely forget the idea that responsibility is about blame or carrying a heavy burden. Just look at the word itself. Break it down. Responsibility. It is simply your ability to respond. That's it. It has nothing to do with what happens to you and everything to do with your capacity to choose your response. This is the key to the whole kingdom. Look, no matter how rich or powerful or organized you are, you will never have 100% control over the outside world. It's impossible. But your inner world, how you choose to respond to what happens out there, that can be 100% your choice. That is where your true power is. So this idea of responsibility creates this fundamental fork in the road in every single moment of our lives. We can either react or we can respond. One of these paths leads to a kind of inner slavery, and the other leads to absolute freedom. So first, let's talk about reaction. This is our default setting, right? It's that knee-jerk, compulsive, automatic thing that happens before we even realize it. It's living on autopilot, completely driven by everything that's ever happened to us in the past. And what's the result of a life lived in constant reaction? Well, it's a form of slavery. Not in chains, but slavery of the mind, of your emotions. I mean, just think about this definition for a second. If someone can say one thing and make you angry, if traffic can make you frustrated, if a comment online can make you sad, then aren't they deciding what happens inside of you? Isn't that the worst kind of slavery? When the outside world holds the remote control to your feelings? But there is another way. There's a path that breaks that chain of compulsion. We can learn to create a little space, a pause, and instead of just reacting, we can consciously choose to respond. And the outcome of making that choice again and again, that is freedom. Real freedom.
the power to decide your own inner experience, no matter what chaos is unfolding on the outside.
So let's just put them side by side. Reaction is compulsive. It's your past programming just running on a loop. A response, on the other hand, is conscious. It's you, right here, right now, in the present moment, thoughtfully choosing how you want to be. It's a difference between being a puppet on a string and being the one holding the strings. So, what's the takeaway here? It means the ultimate tool for living a better life isn't about changing the world outside of you, it's about becoming the master of the world inside of you. This isn't just philosophy, this is a practical, powerful life hack. And I think this is such a beautiful way to look at it. The goal isn't to reach some perfect state where nothing ever bothers you. The goal is to be able to consciously put your whole heart, your full being, into whatever you're doing, without getting knocked off course by all those old compulsive reactions. At the end of the day, this is the final summary. The quality of your life has nothing to do with your job title, your bank account, or your circumstances. It is determined simply by how well you manage your own interiority, how well you manage you. So we'll end with this question. The world is going to do what it does. Traffic will happen. People will be difficult. Challenges will pop up. That's a given. The only real question, the only thing that actually matters is this. How will you respond? The choice and the power is all yours.